yesterday. I just outlined today what we are going to do, and today and tomorrow what we are going to do. So first, we started yesterday with the difference between the role and the self. Not to confuse role and the self. Okay. So then we started to go ahead with outline the course, and then we started explaining about the purpose. Okay. So today we are going to continue the purpose and vision when Arjun comes back. So then I am going to outline how to make the purpose into a reality in life. Okay, to make the purpose, bring the purpose and create that reality in your life. How you have to work? What is that you have to do? Is what you are going to describe. So that actually involves meditation. That actually involves visualization. That actually involves working with people, and also taking divine help in terms of prayer and meditation. So this is the course which is this is for next 2 days, today and tomorrow. So this vision and purpose. Once Arjun comes, you will have another half an hour, 45-minute session to clarify the purpose. So there are many people who don't have a clarity of purpose. There is no way many people here who don't have clarity of vision also. Okay, what do I do? Is nobody will give you what to do. It is you who are going to create what to do, and why you want to create what to do. I'll tell you. Right. So that is the structure of this course. So you understand? The structure of the course is to bring a clarity in terms of vision, a purpose, and implement that vision and purpose in your life. Make your life better and make other people's life are better. And what are the mechanisms to do that in terms of meditation, visualization, right? How to drop your inhibitions. We have already baggage. How to drop your inhibitions and make it work. So this is what our course is about. Any questions? So somebody want to comment on yesterday's based on yesterday, what is your understanding? What improvement you are doing with respect to course, or what is that you got insight in yesterday's class? Yes, I like that. Anybody?
Can you separating ourselves from our role, different roles. You told in answer to Vaishali's question that if you are not aware, then you get lost in that role,
right,
and then it hurts you.
Right. That's
when your awareness should come.
Yeah, that's on the reactive way.
Yeah, that's the reactive.
Yeah.
Is there a preventive way?
Yeah, the proactive way is there. The question is your yesterday question I answered in a reactive way. If you become unaware, you get hurt, then you will come back. The proactive way is always what I call as typically satsanga. A group of people who are having the common ideology, common motive, common direction, working with the group, participate in the group. This is like one such group. It gives big units or awareness. Right? Satsanga is very important in life. You are what your company is. Okay? What you are is what your company is. If you are to judge a person, what kind of person is that, just check up what type of company he has. So that will determine what type of person he is. Alcoholics will have only alcoholics as company. Okay? A person who is an entrepreneur will have more entrepreneur as his company. An artist will have more artist as his company. You are what your company is. So you have a company of good people. That's one way of working on that. Satsanga. Then Sadguru or a realized master who gives the energy to the group, who gives the direction to the group, is good to have. Okay. Otherwise we seek the direction most of the time. Right? Most of the time. Where they are finding the narration from? Please tell me. If I have a problem in life, okay, let's say you have a problem in life. How do you find a solution? You go and cry to a neighbor or a friend who has a similar problem. Okay? You go find a person who has a problem, who has not solved the problem. So now, you start talking about, yeah, I have this problem, yeah, that was, you also had this problem, yeah. So both of you earlier to start with one problem, now it become two problems. You have to find somebody who has a solution for it, who has solved the problem at least. If somebody is struggling in poverty, he goes and keeps on sharing the poverty with somebody else, he won't come out. He has to find somebody who is in a higher position to him, in a higher position, or who is little rich enough. If he is able to guide him, he can come out of it. So that way you have to find a solution in terms of a realized master Sadguru who has come out of this solution problems, if he has come out. Sadguru, Satsanga is a good company, Sadguru. Sadhana, nothing is substitute for your spiritual practice. Your practice, you have to work on yourself. Whether it's meditation, breathing practices, serving, all those things. Then more importantly, service, seva. You have to develop the attitude of service. Always we are stuck with the I, me and mine. My family, my house, okay, my children. You have to go a little bit out of the circle, then you realize how comfortable position you are in the world. God has given so much to you. See one person who hasn't got that. Okay? Actually, you are not helping him, he helps you to realize how fortunate you are. With all things in your life, you are so making your life so miserable. I don't have this, I don't have this, this is not there. You ruin your life when you live within that shell of your home. Just see outside how people are suffering. Okay, what you can do to little bit for them. If you do that, then you will benefit it in terms of, you will understand how fortunate you are, you will become peaceful. I know one example where husband and wife, they both were such a miserable, they are in such a miserable condition. Okay, the wife has an ambition that husband has not achieved something in life, some success in life. Husband says, I have done everything, everything is there in my house, but still my wife keeps on complaining. Then I told them, on your marriage anniversary day, just go and feed some people in the orphanage. So they, on the marriage anniversary, they celebrated an orphanage. This is actually after 25 years of marriage, not newly married people. Okay. 25 years of marriage, they are always fighting with each other. Then after that, in that orphanage, after seeing those people, all complaints in the house went out. You have to see somebody who is in much more suffering to realize how great position you are in. Always you say, this is, I lost this, I have this, I don't have this, I don't have this. See somebody who doesn't have any of this. That is service, seva. Just go beyond a small circle which you have created, shell which you have created. That's seva. Shastra, you have to read something, okay? Read something, motivating thoughts, noble thoughts, right? What do you read actually? After your PUC or after your education, you are not read anything in life. Only thing you read is newspaper. Okay? Otherwise some TV propaganda, what is there? In TV what you hear? Only negative news will come in the TV. The news is always news, whether it's TV or newspaper. No positive news will be making headlines. Only negative news will make headlines. So read something which will motivate you, inspire you. It's a biography of people, spiritual people, enlightened people, or writings of enlightened beings. You read it. So that is what you call Shastra. Then of course, Sharanagati is surrender. In life, you should be able to accept anything comes in life with the total detachment, and whatever comes to you as a prasadam of God, accept it. Everything is for your good, bad, negative things, positive things. Just accept it as a blessing from God and keep on moving in your life. So these are the support systems: Sadguru, Satsanga, Seva, Sadhana, Sharanagati, Shastra. Yes, 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 yes. Easy to remember. Say yes to life. That's all. And all your life you are brought up thinking that no to life, no to life, this I don't want, this I do not like. Learn how to say yes, yes, yes to life. That's all it is. Right. So, did that answer your question, Vishali?
Actually, there is a comedy movie in English. I don't remember the name of the movie. In that, the hero lives a very miserable life. He doesn't have friends. He doesn't have a good job. Which
Yes,
movie?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Man. Yeah, the movie is named Yes Man.
Yes, ma'am.
Jim Carrey, right? Yeah, very good movie. It's enjoyable, but it also has a message. So he lives a very miserable life, and then one of his friends takes him to one spiritual guru, and that guru tells everybody, always say yes.
Okay.
That's all. Keep saying yes for anything.
Okay.
And this person starts doing that and gets into all funny situations.
Okay.
And then finally he does well.
Okay.
It's a good movie.
So anybody else?
I have a question. You have given a solution to a question by giving a case study.
Right.
Out of that, another question has arisen.
Right.
In the earlier case, you were saying the wife was always saying you haven't achieved that. You will still have to get this like that. And you have given certain solutions.
Right.
Satsang, sadhana, seva. So in that case, it's okay. But now my point is, the situation being parallel, now the complaint of the wife is, as you said, after 20 years of marriage, after everything being in place, very comfortable and everything. The wife always complains that you are only thinking of others, you are only doing seva, you are only achieving, but in that process, you are not devoting time to me.
Okay.
Everybody is looking at it. You are looking at all other people as if you are the person to salvage all of them. You are doing seva, you are achieving, but you are not bestowing enough time on me. Then what is the solution?
Okay. Okay. So, see the marriage essentially, one of the best way of marriage. Somebody asked Socrates. Socrates was a great philosopher. Okay. Somebody asked him, how come you became so great philosopher? Okay. He said, all credit goes to my wife. Okay. So he asked, they said, your wife is known to be very terrible. Okay, she is actually, she doesn't like your philosophical teaching. She keeps on shouting at you, right? So then he said, then they also heard that one day Socrates was meditating, it says. Then wife got angry and she brought one bucket full of water and poured on his head. And that's why he got a bald head, not like Narayana. So we heard that. Then Socrates said, yes, that's the reason I become a philosopher. That's why I understood life better. Okay? So my wife made me forced to look at life very, very forceful, very deeper aspects of life. Then another person said, so suppose you had a very cooperative wife who also participated in your this thing, what would have happened? I said, I would have done much better actually. Okay, because together we are doing, instead of one person to 2 person we are doing. So marriage is actually one very interesting aspect of life where two people have to live closely together with each other. There is sometimes there is a difference of opinion, there is sometimes commonality of purpose. So if there is a commonality of purpose, that marriage is called really spiritual marriage, where there is a deeper oneness. Both work towards the same goal of service and betterment of justice. If that is not there, then what happens? The issues will come. There's a conflict will come. Okay. So in a situation of that nature, where there is a conflict, the husband and wife, if they can together have a common vision and common purpose, so that actually sorts out all the differences. It's a common vision and common purpose, it makes a difference. Right? Once you have a common vision and common purpose, everything will fall in line. Now, the common vision and purpose is what you have to derive. If it happens, fine. If it doesn't happen, you have to work towards that. And that's the only solution, sir. A vision and purpose. So you have vision and purpose. The spouse also has to have the same vision and purpose. Then if your vision and purpose is coinciding, then the whole energy will flow. Double the energy will double. If the energy, if that doesn't happen, then the energy will be reduced.
When one spouse understands that other spouse doesn't understand,
Right.
then what?
Then the husband, the spouse becomes much more powerful actually. Now we have much of, see, then the reason I had the example is, when P.T. Usha wanted to win the gold medal, right? P.T. Usha won gold medal. Why did she win the gold medal? She practiced in the sands of beaches of the shore with sandbags on her back. So the life becomes tougher, you become better. So any difficulty in life actually makes you better actually. So if you have a spouse which is not cooperating, I will say that's the only reason which you can become better. And the same situation people can make their life miserable. Oh, my spouse is not cooperating, you make your life miserable. The same situation, if you look at it in a different way, it makes you more motivated, more energetic. So that's why the difference between pessimism and optimism. The light in the darkness in the tunnel and the light in the end of the tunnel. In life, there is no point of time you will have a situation where everything is ideal. Swami Vivekananda said, in a given day, if you are not coming across any problems, okay, perhaps you are on the wrong way. If there are no problems or no difficulties in life, then you are going on the wrong way. Somewhere something is wrong with there actually. Right? Difficulties and obstacles in life makes life much more interesting and challenging. Others will die of boredom, my dear.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
You can speak to me. How can we identify who is a Sadguru? How do we know we have the right Guru?
Okay, this Guru concept itself, okay, let me clarify the concept of Guru itself. So, can you explain the concept of Guru first?
Somebody who can guide us, somebody who can teach what we give us the answers for, not exactly answers, but who can help us find answers to what we are looking for.
So, Guru is a very general, very, very wide terminology. Okay? Please repeat with me and define what Guru is. Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Guru is not just a person. Guru is a principle. Our first Guru has been our mother. If mother didn't take care of you, mother didn't teach you how to speak, you will not go anywhere in life. Somebody who teaches you what you don't know is Guru. Okay? Don't say that, don't think that Guru is a special person in that sense. Your mother has been your Guru, your father is your Guru, your friends have been Guru. Okay? Friends also will teach you. Animals teach you. You can learn from a dog, you can learn from a monkey, you can learn from any animals. You can learn from nature. Nature is Guru. Okay? Can you learn from your enemies? Yes. Actually, you can learn more from your enemies than your friends. You know that? Your competitors, classmates who are competing with you, can you learn more from them than what your friends teach? Right? You please tell me a place where there is no Guru. Any situation is a guru for us. Any obstacle is a guru for us. Any difficulty you face is a guru for us. Actually, for people who have, many people say, I have such and such a spouse, difficult spouse. You should be thankful to God that God has placed an in-house guru for you. Where somebody has to learn more, the guru will come in there, sit in the house. And most difficult spouse. That's a learning for you. Okay. Any circumstance, any teaching, any place, anything can be a guru. That you understand. Guru is everywhere. The question is, are you a shishya? Are you learning from them? That is the problem. Guru you can find anywhere. But whether you have an attitude to learn is the question. Are you a shishya? Are you able to ready to accept and learn from the situation? The same situation, you can run away from that situation. You can say, okay, this is my competitor is doing. He is very cunning. Okay, I also want to do some wrong practice. You can learn bad things from a guru. You can say, this is my spouse. He is an idiot. I don't know how many janmas of karma I have done. He has become my spouse. You can say, okay. Or you can say same thing. God has been so gracious to me that He has put a very tough guru in my house. The question is, guru you can find anywhere, but shishya can you find? The most difficult part of life is to find a great shishya. Where you have an attitude of learning in any given situation is called shishya. Okay, guru is everywhere, everything is guru. Right? So then comes the spiritual guru, spiritual master, right? There are many people who learn something through scriptures, books. Even books you can learn so many things. Then you need a living person because he can explain things much better way. They are called what you call as scholars. Then better than the scholars are there are some people who are much more accomplished in life. Okay, you know from them they're actually in a position to give real meaning of life. So always you find somebody who is above you who can guide you. We should always take guidance from people who are above us, not in the same problem, do problem, char problem ho jayega. Always our problem in life is we start seeking solution from people who have similar problems. It doesn't work that way. You have to find a solution from somebody who has solved the problem. They are actually gurus who are in higher position than you teach. Right? Now, an ideal guru or perfect guru, you will never be able to find. Because you are not a perfect shishya. Understand? Because your vision is not clear. Once your vision becomes only clear, you can find a perfect master. That's why it's always said that guru comes in your life when you are ready. The moment you are ready, you will find a guru, master, real master. Okay? Now when I speak of this guru, this is called Sadguru. Sadguru is an enlightened master, a realized master, who can show a way for the people to come out of their suffering and attain enlightenment or liberation. Okay? So now such people are very difficult to find. It's hard to find. And when they are there, people don't recognize them most of the time because they don't show any extraordinary signs. They are very ordinary people. Ramakrishna Paramahansa was when he was alive. You know how many shishyas he had? 102. Only 102. That is he was living near a city like Calcutta. Okay, in Calcutta there was a news. There is a madman who is a pujari of Kali temple. Okay, so people consider him mad. There are 10 students, whether Vivekananda and others, who were very close disciples of Ramakrishna. Another 40 people who lived nearby used to come. Another 50 people who used to come from Calcutta once in a weekend. That's all. You please see today Ramakrishna Paramahansa, worldwide people worship Ramakrishna Paramahansa as Guru. Somewhere we place a lot of importance on a dead Guru than an alive Guru. We are more comfortable with a dead Guru than an alive Guru. But everything in life, we need a alive person, right? You need a live husband, you need a live wife, and you need a live doctor also. Right? Dead doctor won't work. Okay? You need a live plumber. In your house, problem is there, live plumber. If you have a problem in the house, if you have a problem in health, you need a live doctor. But that concept somewhere breaks down when it comes to live guru. Okay? Guru is too alive because it's very difficult for us to digest. You know why? The reason is we know how stupid we are. How can somebody like me become better than me? I'll come to that. So what happens is that, how can somebody like me, that gurus normally, this guru was really award, they don't have any special ability, special characteristics, no magic and all miracle will do. Their life is very simple. Somewhere, the concept is, can anybody be better than me? It is very difficult for somebody to accept somebody as better than me, because we identify our personalities. Now that's where it said that if you are ready, that if you have become a shishya, then you find a guru. Till that point of time, we can't find a guru, in the sense, enlightened, realized master. Because then you have to understand what is that you seek from that master. Most of the time, seek from the master as solutions for life. Okay? Those who are not married want to get married. I want a husband or wife. Okay? Those who are married, they want to find a solution. Either divorce or repair my wife, not repair myself. Those who are going through job troubles, how to find a better job. So all our problems are mundane. So you will always get a mundane gurus. Only your problem comes that I want to get liberation or mukti. Then you really start seeking a master of that caliber. So then he comes to your life. Okay? Understand a person is a realized master when in whose presence all your questions related to spirituality gets answered. And all your questions related to ordinary life get squashed. Okay? An ordinary guru will make sure that your ordinary problems are solved. A spiritual master only can make all your ordinary mundane problems as irrelevant and focus you on spirituality. That is a Sadguru. So if you come across that person, of whoever is that, you can accept as that Sadguru. When you find some peace in your life, when you are able to, when your mind becomes calm because the problems don't get solved, questions don't get answered, but questioner becomes silent. Your questions are out of stupidity. Most of the questions are out of stupidity. In the presence of the enlightened master, the stupidity becomes more and more clear, the questioner becomes silent. Now the questions get answered. Okay? Does it answer your question? Okay. So, same question was asked to Ramana Maharshi, whom we can find as a Sadguru, enlightened master. Ramana Maharshi said, in whose presence your mind becomes silent. Okay, your questions vanish, not the answer, not that you get an answer, questions vanish. Such a person is your Sadguru. Right? Most of the time we have a very different definition of master. Right? The master should have 1 foot long beard. Okay? So, that 1 foot long beard today is the depth of the beard. So, the length of the beard is proportional to the depth of enlightenment. So, that's so all this comes because of our TV shows and propaganda which goes on in various ways. Okay? Right? And we have a lot of concepts. So since women don't have a beard, they cannot get enlightened. They cannot get mukti. Such stupid concepts we develop over a period of time. So if you are able to drop those stupid concepts, you find a real master. We have become so corrupted by the societal conditioning. We should be able to rise above that. If you become a real good shishya, you will find a real master. Okay, in a bad way it is told, Chora Guru Chandala Shishya. So if the shishya is thief, right? If shishya is in a bad way, you find only a thief as a master. Always in our life, please understand, everybody will find a master, depending on your ability. Okay? Now, Abhishek.
Masters are easy to accept because that control, because once they have lived their life,
Yeah.
you know that no more controversy can arise, and that's where some people say that like Krishna is a guru, Jagat Guru. Why? Because you know everything about his life mostly. So then you can rationalize all the behaviors, even though his last love, for example. So there are different explanations for all the behavior of his son. But otherwise, there's this controversy, and if it arises, then it hurts you. So probably that's why also dead gurus are easier to accept than living gurus.
So there's that actually the dead guru and living guru are slightly give a clear perspective. You please tell me, in everything in your life you'll be a living person, right? Will you accept a dead spouse? It's very difficult to accept a dead spouse. Will you accept a dead doctor for your solutions? At least dead psychiatrist? Then why it comes a concept of guru only this problem is applied? Please tell me. Dead guru is better than live guru is why this is applicable to human mind. See, the problem with the guru is, okay, like anything in life, nothing is guaranteed in life. Okay? There's no guarantee. Is there a guarantee in life that you'll be alive tomorrow morning? Is there a guarantee in life that you'll get a beautiful wife? Okay? You'll have beautiful marriage after marriage. You'll try to do everything like horoscope, checking and all those things you'll do. But there's no guarantee in life. Is there a guarantee in life that after getting a job, you'll be job will be very beautiful or good, your boss may be harassing you? Right? So there's no guarantee in life. Every situation in life happens to you. Marriage happens to you. Okay? Friends happen to you. But only situation in life is you accept somebody as a guru. Please understand. It is your choice which has made that person as guru. Guru doesn't happen to you. You happen to be Shishya to the Guru. Do you understand the difference? In marriage also, after coming to certain marriage age, some conditions will happen, you have see the boy and girl, then you make a choice. But most of the time, our choices are limited. But when you come to the Guru, it is you make a choice that this person is my Guru, this person who I can learn. Is there a guarantee that you will get a good Guru? There may be controversy, there may be a thief, there may be a criminal, right? Okay, there may be a person who is telling something which is in the name of spirituality, he may be misguiding you. There's no guarantee in that life. But if you make yourself a Shishya, if you evolve yourself, then you will find a right Guru. Now, most of the time people take dead masters as Guru. Their evolution is not high, that I can guarantee you. Information comes from the master, but transformation cannot come from the past masters. I have seen one example of one example, I just want to, for the sake of clarity, I will try. When I was conducting a class in South Canada, one person came to me. He said, this so and so person is my guru, who has passed away. He guides me. Okay. Then I said, how? I read all his books, fine. Information is there. Whether transformation has happened is a question. Information can give inspiration, but transformation can happen only when the inspiration goes into you and changes you. That change can happen only when you see live examples of that nature. So that said, he is an Ayurvedic doctor. He said one patient came to me. I gave him penicillin injection, and the moment I gave penicillin injection, the patient started shivering and foaming and went unconscious. He said, my Guru is great. How? I chanted the name of the Guru, put on a gloves and opened his tongue, and the person became alright. I thought, really, the Guru is great. The patient is saved. See, what happens is that the message of the Guru will corrupt in our mind and apply it to the way I like. Have you heard of the statement, love thy neighbor? Very beautiful, right? You read it 100 times and apply in your life. Go and start loving your neighbor's wife. Are you making a mistake? It's in principle true, but your mind is corrupted, you are trying to apply it. In the presence of a living Guru, those nonsense will not happen. No, there's a two-way interaction where any wrong understanding will be corrected. Whereas a person who is not there, books and information becomes the message, very good chances are that you will correct it. So that is the importance of a living Guru. Now definitely, because there is so much of demand for Guru, there are so many different types of Gurus. But you have to evolve to find out who is the right Guru for you. Otherwise you can't find. And just because there are some bad people, bad gurus, the world is not like that. There are bad marriages, there's bad schools, everything in life is something otherwise go wrong. But ultimately it's up to you to find out who is the right person for you. We'll just wait for a few minutes for Arjun. No? Who's here? Yeah, we are waiting for you. No problem. No problem. Okay, so those who want to bring your books from the room, please go ahead and bring. We'll start in another 5 minutes. Good morning, everybody. We'll continue with the yesterday's session where we are trying to restore the Arjun had given exercise of listing the purpose. Actually, that exercise is slightly listing all the priorities in life. Now the priorities we have to align with the purpose and vision. So that's what we will do. So once you get clarity on that, then we will proceed how to develop what are the obstacles which you can come across in life, how to overcome that, whether it's meditation or prayer or visualization exercise which will help you to create your vision into reality. This is what we will do today. We'll have a 1 hour meditation session in the pyramid, probably later part of the evening today. So after the coffee break, we'll go there 5 o'clock. Till that point of time, we'll have a session here. Evening, we'll go to pyramid for meditation in the pyramid between 5 to 6. So morning session will be having a clarity on the vision and purpose. Then I will take up how beliefs affect your vision and purpose, how worldview affects your vision and purpose, how belief affects your execution. So those are things I will take up.
Good morning. Is anybody having still any doubts about what exercises they did or any clarification needed? Are we through it?
Everybody did, I think. Everybody did.
True? Okay. So just a bit. There are some people who said they didn't write anything. How many people didn't write anything because they didn't find anything to write? So how many people? 1. Gayatri. So there are some people who didn't write anything because they didn't find anything to write. Okay. Only one thing to write. What is the one thing? Realize also. Okay. So that actually is those people who have not found something. It is not that there's nothing. There is something, which is actually you have to create. There is no purpose which will come to you. How to create that purpose is what I'll explain after this learning.
What you have written down is nothing but your desires, expectations, aspirations, whatever came to you from the conscious mind, you are written it down. What you have done now is you have put it in the order of 5 top priorities. 5 top priorities, and you have put that as 5 top priorities. Now what we need to do is, now we need to look at how these priorities can be made. For example, if somebody has written, go ahead. You want to share? You want to talk something?
I thought you were asking us to.
Oh, okay. I'm just explaining. I'll ask now. Okay. So now you are listed down, and now sometimes it may be abstract also. Many times it's abstract. Like I want good health. It may be like I want self-realization. That's the thing which you have written. Now you need to put a concrete steps into that. I'm going to narrate you a story about a person who was a part-time doctor, Ayurvedic doctor, and a full-time barman. That means you are serving the bar full-time, and a part-time is to do Ayurvedic treatment to people whenever people is come. One day he saw a person right across the road who was about 70 years and whom he had treated, walking upright and straight and seemed to be very healthy. So he felt very happy that he had treated somebody and he had in turn supported that person to overcome his problem or ailment. Then he ran across the road and he told him that, look, I am so happy to see you looking so healthy, and you came as a patient to my clinic, and now I would like to know from you, like, how did my medicine help? Then that person looks at him and says, medicine did work, but not your medicine. Then he gets a bit perturbed and he asks, whose medicine was it then? Then he says, there's a ripe old man who is an Ayurvedic doctor who has treated me, and his medicine has worked. So he packs his bag, he in turn closes his, resigns from his employment, goes straight to this person, falls at his feet, and tells him that, please, can you take me as your disciple? He really likes this person. He said, okay, come on. He becomes his disciple, and he continues for a number of years. Then one fine day, this right old man says that, whatever I knew about Ayurveda and medicine, I have told you everything. I have demonstrated, I have taught you. Now you are capable of going ahead in this world and doing something on your own in this field. So I give the certificate to you that you are an eligible doctor. So this person takes his blessings and again winds up. And as he is coming out, the old man calls him and asks him, like, now that you are going out, what is that you want to become as an Ayurvedic doctor? Then he says that I want to be a very famous and respected Ayurvedic doctor. Then he asks him, how do you know that you have become a very famous and respected Ayurvedic doctor? Then he thinks over and he says, I have checked at least 1 lakh pulses in the next 10 years. Okay, write it down. Then he writes it down. Then, I would have treated the likes of Dalai Lama and Mother Teresa. Write it down. Then, I would have treated the top diplomats who come to India, who are not cured for some reason when they come to India, for some reason they fall ill, then I will be going and treating them. Write it down. Then, I would have had at least 5 clinics apart from India abroad. Write it down. Then he says, now you can go. So he goes. This lady who taught me this process, she happened to meet this person, that is a part-time barman and a full-time Ayurvedic doctor who has become an Ayurvedic doctor. And he is known that he has never taken any holiday or vacation. He is always there at his clinic or doing some work. When she goes one day to him, she finds that this person is packing his bags for some kind of politics. Then she asks him, like, where are you going? And you are never known to take holidays or vacation. Where are you going? He says that, actually speaking, I will tell you by some kind of other ways of telling rather than directly tell you. And he goes to his room, picks up a paper, comes back, and it's an old tattered paper. then gives it to this person, and she interns and says, what is this? This is some old paper. Do you see something written over there? Yeah, I see some 1 lakh pulses, some 5 clinics. Yeah. Actually, this was written about 21 years back. I had written down in front of this person, the old Ayurvedic doctor, that I will be interning 1 lakh pulses. I have not checked 1 lakh pulses, but I have checked till now 4 lakh pulses. Then, if you see the certificate over there, the certificate is given by Mother Teresa, and she herself has signed over there. She had come to my clinic and she has given me a certificate on my work on AIDS, and I have checked the pulse of Dalai Lama. Apart from that, there is one more point over there, these top diplomats. Actually speaking, when some of the top diplomats, when they come over to India and they fall ill and they are not being able to be treated by other doctors, because the ministers know me, they call me to treat those people. And today I don't have 5 clinics, but I have 7 clinics abroad. And now that I have fulfilled all those things which I have written down to prove that I am a respectable and a famous doctor, I want to create my life for the next 21 years, and that's why I am taking a holiday for the next 7 days to create my life for the next 21 years. He says so, and he takes leave. Incidentally, life is beautiful. It's so coincidental. I have got one more guru who is called Kichu Krishnan, because of whom I am in this profession of training. Shetidhar knows him, Vaishali knows him, ma'am has seen him. So, he in turn told me that, are you talking about Pankaj Naram? I said, yeah, I am talking about Pankaj Naram. This person is known as Dr. Pankaj Naram. He is in Mumbai. Kichu Krishnan has visited his clinic and got his pulses checked with him. That means he just checks the pulse for 15 seconds and he will tell exactly what is the ailment or disease a person is having. That's his work every day. And he got a huge clinic, has trained people and all. Kichu's guru is Khurshid Merchant. Khurshid Merchant is the director at this company which Pankaj Naram has got now. And while I was conducting such program, one person called Nitin Mehta came to that program. He said, I have gone there. You can't even imagine the amount of rush is there. About 500 to 700 people's pulses are checked each day and they are given treatment for the diseases. So what we are sharing is how powerful these things what I have written down, if they have got concrete measurable milestones, these are called as milestones or markers. If you can create powerful markers, then you will see yourself moving towards that. This year I had a milestone of completing 400 hours of Yoga Vashishta, listening to a discourse given by a guru, one more guru whom I met in 2006, who is no more there now. His name is Chandrasekhar Swami. He had given 400 hours of discourse. So, actually, it was lying in my house for the last 7 years. I had never even touched it. So, this year I took that as a marker or as a kind of milestone. And now I have completed 300 hours of it. So, that is the power of your milestone. The more clearer you are there on the milestone or the marker, the more it will work towards you. Brian Tracy, who has done a lot of work on goals and intentions, he has trained about 1 million people over the world. He says that if you can write your dream or desire and 10 of your desires or dreams and write it and fold it and keep it in a cupboard which you do not access for the next 1 year, if you take out after 1 year without your designed effort, by default and drift, just because you have written it down, 25% of what you have written down as your desires or dreams would have ultimately been realized. Suppose you have written about 15 of them. Somebody like Katyayani has written 11. And now that you have written 11, 25% is about 3 of them. The three of those things would have materialized in next 1 year. Without your kind of conscious effort. That would have been realized. But the question is, which of those three? Are those three the top most priority ones or the bottommost priority ones or somewhere in the middle? We don't know. So if we want to make those things which we really want, the 5 things which you have created now, that to work towards a certain goal, then you have to create markers and put the milestones in place. Are we clear? What I am going to do right now is help one person to create a marker for one of the intention. Before that, what I want you to do is, you have created 5 of them, no? Beside those 5, you need to write for each one of them, you need to put across the, on a 1 to 10 scale, 1 being the least, 10 being the highest. That means either you feel that I am perfectly fine the way this particular intention is moving towards or going towards, or I am not very clear about it, how it's going about, I am not very happy about it, I am not satisfied the way it's moving, then it becomes 8 or 9. Clear? You need to put 8 or 9. Suppose you are I'm extreme. Then you will put 1 or 2. If you are not very happy about it, you have to put 1 or 2. If you are very happy the way it's going, then it becomes 8 or 9. It's been fine, it's okay, things are happy, I don't have any issues with this particular intention, then it becomes 8 or 9 or 10. That means it's on track. If it's on track, it becomes 8 or 9 or 10. If it's not on track, I have this desire, but I don't know how it's going about, I am not sure about it, it becomes 1 or 2 or 3. So put those numbers for each one of them. The 5 of them. Besides that 5.
Only the 5.
Come here. I'll share with you how to go about it. Okay? You're okay to read it out and share with others? Okay. I'll help you how to derive that. Just observe. What was the first one? I have to. I want to have so much of wealth is the first one.
Wow.
Okay. Now, on a 1 to 10 scale, where do you measure it? As of now, 1 being the least, 10 being the highest. That means 1 means I have got this dream, but nothing has happened on that. 10 means, oh, I had this dream and really I am doing something about it and it will happen by this time. 5. Good. 5. Then your father should be very rich now. Put 5. Okay, we'll put 5. Good. No problem. Come here. 5. Shall I write 5 here? Okay. I want to do a satsang like Guruji. Okay. Where are you now?
We are doing first lessons.
Okay. 1 to 10 scale? 8.
Oh,
Good. Okay. Next one. I want to be Ayurveda doctor. 7. Oh, how? Like, that means he has got some design. You have got some design in place, or you have read some books how to become an Ayurveda doctor. 1. He's got the design. Good. I want to be a pilot when I grow up.
how can you pilot it properly?
Then it was irrelevant.
How?
Sir,
4.
Guru anyways lifts people from the Bhav Sagar.
When I grow up.
Pilot.
But are you concerned about it?
Pilot Baba.
You know about how to go about it? Then it's what is the number there? 1. I want to be a teacher when I grow up. Okay. After he has written, we have completed this exercise. I will share with him for the benefit of the group also how a person can become all these things. Would you like to hear that? Please sit down. Thank you. You don't want to come? You go there, no? Are we clear now? Who have got about 4 or 5 intentions written and all of them are on 8 or 9? Right. No. Write down first. Fine. No, 8 or 9 means it's already on track. I know its design is placed in place. It might not have been accomplished, but I know the design is in place.
I know how to accomplish it, but I have not gone about and doing it.
Absolutely. For example, in her case, she wants to be an engineer. It can be about 8 or 9 because she knows that it's in place. She's already joined the college, so it should be 8 or 9. But I want to score 90% in engineering. That can come to about 3 or 4 because the design may not be in place.
But I want to score 90% and I know that if I have to score 90%, then probably these are the texts which I need to read, or this much I need to read. And though I know that, but right now I am actually doing only 1 hour. Then how? Suppose you have to put 9 hours and you are just doing.
Then it's 3 or 4.
No, but you know the design, right?
Design is known, but it's not put in practice, na?
It's not put in practice.
Then it's still 3 or 4. It cannot be more than that. Because ultimately, all the effort you are putting behind that, that's important, no? Okay? Are you through? Are you through? Anybody is wanting some more time? Okay. What does it mean? Anybody has got here who has got about 8 or 9 on all the 5 intentions? 8 or 9? 5. On all the 5. 8 or 9. That means they are all on track. Okay, and you know that it's going to happen. The design is in place. Okay, fine. Anybody has got on all the 5 below 4 or 5? Below 5. On all the 5 below 5 or gone. Okay. So what would you have got 5 below more, all of them? Okay. You also same thing? One of you will sit with here and create. Okay, so we can put the design in place. That's the resonance. What does it mean? The number, see, what you have written down is your intention. Your desire, your intention, your aspiration. That's what you have written down. A statement. I want to be a pilot, or I want to be a teacher. It's an intention. The score you are given is the attention you are paying to your intention as of now. The score is the attention you are paying to your intention, and the tension in life is the difference between your intention and attention. That is the tension. Now, if we can put something, an order in place, that means to that extent the tension can be reduced. Clear? So, both of you come over here, like in the center. I'll sit and work for one intention, and only one intention work. During the lunch break, you need to make for your other 5, all of you need to complete that 5 intentions. Then by the time we'll have the purpose and the vision clarity. Correct? Bring your chairs to take some more sheets, Katel. Right? pick up one intention and write it down. Whichever one. I suggest that you take up one which you don't have much clarity on.
ನಾನು ಎಲ್ಲ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ನಾನು ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಮಗ ಮೇಲೆ ನಿಜ ಮಾಡೋದು. Thank you.
Okay. Through? Yeah. So I'll take up Mr. Katyani first. Give her a mic, please. Give a mic to Katyani. Okay. What have you written as your intention? What is the intention? What have you written as your? Read it out.
Thinking of combining art and
Thinking of
combining
art and music. Thinking of combining art and music. Okay. So now, like if you want to think of art and music, how do you know that you have combined art and music? So when you are asking a question to write these markers for yourselves, what you need to do is, you need to ask a question, how do I know that I have combined art and music? Or how does one know? How do I know? Forget about you know. I know. How do I know that you have combined art and music? Okay. So what is that which can help you to combine art and music?
every artist is like he needs music. Something he has very creative, and every artist likes something like that.
Okay.
So that's what I found.
Okay. So whenever you're stuck with this, there's a beautiful saying which says that whenever you're in a problem, go to a person who has already solved a problem or solved this problem. So if you were to take that as a context, now if you were to put in place, who is that person who has combined art and music?
There is some artist we went to his house, and he does paintings with music.
He does painting with,
They play the music and he draws according to that.
or he draws the music, he has the music and in the background he draws according to that. Okay. Now, can you go to that person some more time to learn that? Or will it be possible?
I think he's busy.
Ah,
He's very busy. I think.
he's very busy. I'll tell you. Okay. Now, how else do you know that you can work towards it? You have got a desire. Now, what else can you do? One is, can you approach it? Have you tried it? Can you do that? At least can you talk to him? So, one thing is to go and learn from a person who has already made this as a reality. Okay, who has combined art and music. So, one thing is to learn from dash person. I don't know who is that person. Dash person combining art and music. Can you put it as one of the markers? Right now. To learn from dash person Next is, can you try it on yourself? By yourself. So how much time would you like to spend in the next 3 months on this?
As soon as I finish my class and come, I can.
Okay. How much time on every, is it daily basis or weekly basis? Daily. How much time?
2 or 3 years.
2 or 3 years. Will it be possible
Yes.
for you to do this for 2 or 3 hours?
Yes.
Okay. So you can say for the next 3 months, I will experiment or work on myself by putting the music on and creating.
And I just
Okay. So what happened afterwards?
was good, but not exactly more good.
Okay. Can you at least do that work and go to this person and show him, this is what I have done, and it has come out like this. Can you help me to further this?
This is a painter, but I need it in sculpting.
You did it sculpting. Okay. Can you ask for support? How did he first start with the painting part of it first, and then get this whole thing done, so that you can also translate this into sculpting? That means he is doing it in painting. Now, what would happen is either he would have learned by himself or he would have learned through somebody else. So if you go to that person with your work and say that this is up to what I have been doing, on my own I have done something like this, can you help me to further it?
Yeah.
So, by when you can go to that person? First is how many days you take to work on yourself like this before you go to that person?
I took this time for now.
One. For the next 1 month, I will be spending 2 hours every day. For the next 1 month, I will be spending 2 hours every day. And then seek an appointment. And then seek an appointment. And get a feedback from this person. And get a feedback from this person. Okay? 2. What else can you do for this? What else? How do you know that you have become that?
I can try new concepts every day.
Okay? For the next one, how many concepts would you like to try in the next 1 month?
Every week at least 3 concepts.
Excellent. So, in the next one, right? I will have 3 new concepts every week for the next 1 month. Right? Okay? What else can you do?
I can make a group with the...
Oh, excellent. And what she's doing is,
First, I want to try it. Once I will have a group.
Group. See, this is something you already done it. You collected a few people for sculpting classes in the summer holidays, and you taught them, and you become more expert than what you are. Am I right? Excellent. After 1 month, from 1 month to 3 months, I will create a group where we can have this. I will create a group for creativity and music. Okay. Now, if you were to, where is your number over there? What is the number you give there? On 1 to 10 scale? 2. So, if this were to happen, what will be the score over there?
7.
Excellent. You saw that? The more clarity she gets on the marker, the higher the scores go up. 7. Now, is it easy to, once you reach 7, is it easy to move from 7 to 9?
Yes.
You will get the way. Excellent. Got it?
Yeah.
So this is how you are going to create. Big round of applause for Katyayani. Right? So we are going to do Manjula. You take up one.
I want to be peaceful always.
I want to be peaceful always. Okay. Now, how do you know that you are peaceful?
Basically, I get agitated within, I'm angry within, I don't put it out to expose me. I always show that I'm patient enough and I don't show it.
But once
I
what
get
kind?
agitated with it, but it can be anything, like it can be in terms of environment or conflicts.
Okay.
I'm very concerned about
So-
the environment, that is one thing.
Uh-huh.
Like if some people waste water,
and waste paper, cut down trees or something, I will really get irritated.
Okay.
But still, like, I can't help it. If I try to convince somebody, like, they may not listen.
Okay.
So this agitates. And even at home also, like, there may be some conflicts which I would say, like, ignore those things, but people will not listen to those.
How many hours in a day you feel you get agitated?
I have not calculated.
No, are you always feeling of agitation is there, or
I know it is not always, but at times.
at times? What can you do at those times when you feel agitated?
I try to ignore, but it doesn't happen.
What can you do? What else can you do?
I start thinking about it.
You stop thinking about it. Okay. So this is something which I shared with someone, and it worked. Just try it out. At least 3 times in a day, I become aware in the next 15 days when I get agitated. At least 3 times in a day, I become aware. Aware means I know I am becoming agitated or I have become agitated. That can be one way of looking at it. And one more exercise which I have given, which worked out for people, is I list down the times when and with whom I get agitated, and I found that person found out that 80% of the agitation comes from 20% of the people in his life. And he was very specific. He used to get agitated while driving his car when somebody comes in front of him. His boss. He was very much agitated with his boss and 2 of his colleagues. Otherwise, other people he was not agitated. Okay. So I think one more thing to this dimension, Professor can also add a lot of things as we go on today. You may find your answers for this.
I started discussing
With him. So I think that is the only thing you need to do now.
It's very tough. So,
Yeah. So anything else, you take up one more thing. That professor is the best person to support you, rather than me. One more. Anything.
health related.
Okay, help. Help. Okay, I want to be.
Healthy always.
I want to be healthy. How do you know that you are healthy?
Right now I have BP which is tracking 140.
Okay.
I want to reduce it to 140. I want to.
Okay, by how many months?
Another 6 months.
In 6, but that is by, what is the date today?
I initially tried, but still.
10-8, no?
For a brief period it was stopped, but again it started.
Okay, what did you do at that point of time to see that it reduces?
I reduced my weight a bit.
Okay.
And it helped to some extent. Maybe 1 month or 2 months it was fine. But after that I started seeing.
Actually, it's related to the first problem. It's agitation is possible.
Oh,
They are related.
They are related? Okay.
They are not independent problems.
Okay. So what you can do is, first thing is, just to set the markers, I'm going to give you some inputs. First thing is, I would like to bring, have the level at 120 by 80. 80 in how many months time?
3 to 6 months.
3 months. In 3 months. 120 by 80 in 3 months time. Put a date there. 3 months means?
Yeah.
Put a date. Because that's very important. Next. The second one.
Second one was, I will start yoga.
How many days?
Maybe at least over weekends to start off. And
Okay. Can you put it 3 days a week? 3 days a week, 30 minutes of yoga. Yeah, what else?
I'll start spending some time on my hobbies. Maybe that will be good.
Oh yeah? So, how much time?
Maybe weekends, 2 hours.
2 hours in a week, on weekends, 2 hours on weekends. I'll spend time on my hobbies. That's clear. Hobbies, that you are clear about each hobby and all. So 3 markers. Plus, if you were to work on the agitation part, that can support also in the whole process. So what we have done now is, if you have to put this in place, where is your now that intention is on in the health related thing number? Score? 5. So where it will be if you have to put this in place, this being in place? 7. Okay. Our goal is to bring the attention level to 7 to 9. From wherever they are, you need to get it to 7 to 9. So if you explore on your own like this, you can bring for each of the markers like that to 7 to 9. Do this exercise during the lunch hour or whenever you find time today. If you have difficulty in reaching to that place or putting down the markers clearly, then we can sit together and move it forward. Clear? That's what we'll do. For each one of you, the same thing. Do it and see that how it moves around in the whole process. And also one more thing to the whole group is, suppose let us say that you put this all but still you do not find some kind of clarity that I don't know what, I don't know, I am not sure that it will happen. I have put markers, I have put everything, I am really not sure whether it is going to happen. At that time also, the purpose and the vision, once it's defined, you see the alignment with the purpose and the vision. If it's not aligned to the purpose and the vision, also you may have struggle to do this. So very important to check what are you written down, whether it's aligned to the purpose and vision, what you are going to create today by the end of the day. Okay? Got clarity here? Fine. Very good. Everything is same. Arbitrary deal.
Car is ready. Coffee?
Coffee in 10 minutes? Coffee? I thought 11:30.
Okay. So,
What I suggest is sit with your partner and try to work out on the markers. Come and arrive at there should be minimum 3 to 5 markers or milestones. So sit with your partner and do the exercise and arrive.
okay. So, there are some people who wouldn't have anything to write because nothing is there. Okay, what you have written there is mostly priorities in life. What is that I have to? These are the priorities which you have listed. The priorities keep changing over a period of time. After 4 or 5 months, if you change, if something happens in life, there changes. What doesn't change is the purpose. This whole thing is structured in such a way. There is a purpose, there is a vision, there is a goal, there is a vision and then priorities. The priorities will change, but vision and purpose will not change. First, let me ask the question, do you people know, do you people have a purpose in life? Anybody has a purpose in life? And if you have a purpose in life, what is the purpose? Can somebody say? How many people have a purpose in life? Can you raise your hands? So there are so many people who have a clear purpose in life. What about you people?
Me?
Yes or no?
I did this myself.
You have a purpose. Okay. Narayan? Anything? Okay. So, can quickly somebody share what is the purpose? You have a purpose.
No, I didn't raise hands.
You didn't raise your hands. Who didn't raise your hands? Please. Okay.
Purpose in life.
Why we are doing anything in life? Somebody is studying, somebody is doing cycling. Why are you doing that? Right, you do cycling, right? Lot of cycling, right? Why are you doing that?
That's for fitness.
Huh?
That's for fitness.
Okay. And if fitness is there, what will happen to you?
I'll be more energetic and I'll be able to do whatever I need to do the rest of the day.
Okay. So if you do that, what will happen to you?
I'll to be able to achieve my goals.
If you achieve your goals, what happens to you?
I feel more content, satisfied.
So you feel more content and satisfied.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you? So what are, you said you don't have a purpose, right? Let us understand what are you doing. You are doing arts, right? Why are you doing arts?
Makes me happy.
Happy, okay. So what is constant for all of you? That is the purpose. To seek happiness is the purpose. That doesn't change. Whatever you do, you may do, so get married or, right? Okay, you may do art, you may do dance, music, anything you do, the happiness what you seek doesn't change. The purpose of life is clearly happiness and contentment. Contentment, I say peace. Peace and happiness is the purpose of life. Do you agree or not agree? That doesn't change. Everything else changes. Any questions, sir? Peace and happiness is the purpose of life. Is it clear? Do you have any doubts over that? So for that you may seek to have through exercise, through music, through art, whatever. Means of seeking may be different, but purpose doesn't change. Will it change throughout his life? Till you die, the purpose will change? It doesn't. Right? The purpose is very clear. The purpose what you have listed now is prioritized how to achieve the purpose. At one point of time, you will do through music, at one point of time, you will do through job or some means. The way to achieve the purpose will change, but the purpose itself doesn't change. That's why it's called purpose. Purpose of life is to seek happiness and peace. Any questions, sir, Shashi? Right? Purpose doesn't change. What changes the purpose. Purpose changes, then there is not a purpose. It's a milestone, a goal. Is it clear? It is true for me and it is true for everybody else. To seek happiness and peace is my purpose. Okay? To seek happiness and peace is anybody else's purpose also. Okay? How I seek happiness through my job, through profession. How I can bring happiness and peace to others is my vision. Do you understand what is the vision? If I can create peace and happiness to somebody, bring peace and happiness to somebody, that is the vision. Do you understand what the vision means? What is vision actually? Vision, what is the meaning of vision? Little meaning of vision. Vision means see, to see. Okay? I have a better vision now. I can see. This is called vision. Correct? Are you clear? Vision means to see. Now, only difference here, there is nothing to see actually. Vision is what you want to, what you create is the vision. There is nothing already there. What you want to create to bring peace and happiness to people is the vision. Are you clear? To see it is not there because already people are suffering, people have problem with peace and happiness, right? Somebody has no food, somebody has no job, somebody has marital problems, somebody is married and has problem, somebody is not married and has problems. Different types of problems are there. Are you understanding what I am saying? Did you understand what I say? What is that? Vision is, purpose is to be happy and peaceful to myself. Vision is to bring that peace and happiness to others. Is that clear? Anybody has a question? So now, the larger the vision, the more is the energy. The larger the vision, more is the energy. The smaller the vision, less is the energy. If I can bring peace and happiness to more people, the more energy will flow out of me. Naturally, if I have to give 1,000 rupees to each of you, I need to have at least 10 lakh rupees. Understand? By having a greater vision, your energy level should be higher, because to bring peace and happiness to many more people, I need to have more and peace. I need to have that ability to bring peace and happiness. A vision brings energy and strength in you. A person without a vision is a blind man, groping in the darkness, trying to find out every time what I will do next. Are you clear? How I can bring peace and happiness to as many people as possible is the vision. How you do it, okay, is your vision. You understand? How you do it is your vision. So tomorrow, don't worry about your vision comes true or not, doesn't come true. A person here has created a pyramid valley, right? He creates a pyramid valley. Why did he create the pyramid valley? For him to sit and meditate. I want to sit and meditate. More and more people should come and meditate, find peace and happiness here. That is the purpose. Is it clear? In the process, what happens to create this thing? His energy has to be more. If he is weak, it won't happen. His energy has to be more. So the bigger the vision you have, greater is your energy. If you don't have a lack of energy, it only means that your vision is lacking. Have you understood? Have you understood the purpose? Purpose of anybody on the earth, even including animals, is to be peaceful and happy. No animal wants to be disturbed. Purpose doesn't change. Vision is what you can do to fulfill the purpose of somebody else around. If it is a smaller circle versus a larger circle. Now normally we have a vision also. I have a vision for my family. I'll take care of my family. Okay, that is a small vision. Now slightly go beyond that vision to try to see how you can create happiness and peace to others. So then your vision becomes enlarged, and when your vision becomes enlarged, your energy will be more. Your strength will be more, because you can't do that just like that. Is it clear to everybody? I think you understood. Now, how to achieve that vision is your vision. These are the few things I have to do to achieve this vision. Okay. Then, what you have to do to achieve that vision is your goal and priority. Priority is what you have listed now. If these are in alignment, your life is going in a very focused way. There is no deviation here and there. Don't worry if which vision is not achieved. Greater is the vision, greater is the energy. And greater is the energy, greater is your strength to achieve it. To give an example, I'll just give some two examples. One day I met a lady. It was in one of the satsangs. She's a ordinary lady, poor lady. Somebody introduced me, and I told her about her. She is taking care of 10,000 cows. She has not very rich person. She is taking care of 10,000 cows in one place. What happened was, she saw one day one cow was being slaughtered, killed. She felt so bad about it. She asked for other cows which are ready for being killed. I want to buy that. The person told some money, and she went and begged and borrowed money to free the cows, and she started taking care of the cows. Now she is taking care of 10,000 cows every day. Somewhere the strength will come to you when your motivations and your energy is there. Understand? If your purpose is larger, if your vision is larger, you will derive the strength from some place. That universe will give the strength to you. All those will flow through you. You cannot imagine taking care of one cow. It's very difficult. Somebody take to 10,000 cows. It requires a lot of energy. That energy comes to you. All of us need to have a vision. A person without a vision is a blind person. I tell you my vision. Right? What makes you keep this going? I feel there is lack of spiritual knowledge, wisdom in the world. Whatever is the reason, I feel people are suffering. So my vision is to bring the spiritual education and knowledge to as many as people as possible, if possible to the whole world. That is the vision. Now if you ask me tomorrow, I have another 20-25 years of life. By the 25 years of life, I want to see many people will have the spiritual education and they find the peace and happiness within. That's the purpose. That's the vision. So will that vision be true? I don't know. In 20 years I may be able to do it. I don't know. I don't care. But my life is aligned in that direction. I want to do it that way. Okay. So that is the vision, to bring the spiritual education to. But what I am seeing is, now I am doing this last 16 years. Now I am seeing this small group of people. There are some people who come out of that. Even if I die after 25 years, there will be another 1,500 people who will carry forward my vision. So after 20 years, after 100 years, there will be 100 more people. So I will never die. My life will be perpetual. I will be immortal by my vision. The vision will be carried forward. Understand? You will not. You may die physically, but your vision will, if it's really good, really high, noble vision, that noble vision will go forward in the world and will become. Then you will never die. So vision is what makes you immortal. Ashwattama, Balir Vyaso, Hanumascha, Vibhishana, Krapa Parashuramascha, Saptaite, Chiranjeevinaha. See, this is actually 1989. First time I got a glimpse of a higher truth. Next day, this sloka came to me. This sloka, I made a commentary on this sloka. And my mother was in Mysore. At that time I sent an audio cassette of that this commentary on that to my mother, and probably my mother got a shock. Something has happened to this fellow. So what is that? You cannot physically become immortal any point of time. Okay, you will die. But what becomes immortal is your actions. Ashwattama is actually Chiranjeevi. He lives forever, not because of physically. The bad actions he has done. He has tried to kill people when they are sleeping. He tried to kill the child in the womb. That bad actions makes him immortal. Bali Chakravarti, he donated everything what he has, including his own head. His donation makes him immortal. Ultimately, your actions is what makes you immortal. Okay? It's your vision which makes you immortal. And the vision is what gives you energy. What is the vision you have for the world? The larger is the vision, the more is the energy, more focus is how you live. Is that clear? Then you have to say vision. Okay, if I have to do this, how I have to work? For me personally, I have to create a training material, I have to create a course material, I have to train some people, I have to train some teachers, gradually they carry forward the vision. What are the actions? How you do it? Now there is a challenge here. The challenge is our personal life and our vision may be in conflict. Understand? Do you understand what I am saying? So your vision may not coincide with your personal life. Then there is a conflict. Then it will be split. Your energy will not be fully. The challenge in your life, the whole life is a challenge. Okay, you think struggling with your job is a challenge, struggling with your wife is a challenge, struggling with your life is a challenge. No. Challenge is to align your personal life with your vision. That is the biggest challenge which everybody has. You understand what I am saying? How you can your personal life you have to align with your vision and make it successful, work towards that. Then you don't have split personality, you have one life. So very simple words I say. The purpose of life is to find peace and happiness for yourself. Okay? And to share that peace and happiness with the world is your vision. How you share it is your vision. And if you have vision and vision clear, use your skills to do that. For an artist, don't try to become a dancer. You can't do that. A businessman, don't try to become a preacher for doing that. What you are, with what skills you have, discover your skills, develop your skills, and use that skills to be happy and peaceful yourself and share that peace and happiness with others. This is overall framework. Everybody understood? Anybody understood? Anybody has a question? Clear? Abhishek?
There's the word vision and mission is actually vision. I understand what you want in life. Action and how you want to. What are the actions which you will?
Vision is also very clear. Bring ultimately people have to feel peace and happiness.
Like my purpose is peace and happiness.
Your purpose is peace and happiness.
But then what will be my vision for my life? Because what I want in my life is a good job, good for my life, success in life, other things. So these are the goals which I have in life.
Yeah.
But what can be the vision?
Any other question?
What can be the vision for? Suppose if I don't want to
probably be a spiritual teacher and teach many people.
No.
So
You don't have to be a spiritual teacher. You don't have to be. No, spiritual teachers, each of them, you become what you become. You become what best you want to are. Don't try to become anybody else. It's not possible at all. Okay? What you are today? Engineer, right? As an engineer, you can earn something by doing your job and earn some money, make your personal life fruitful in terms of money. And now, using the same skill, can you generate peace and happiness for many more people? That is your vision. Either through money or through technology.
I got an example. I can work for a non-profit like Wikipedia, which serves other people and helps finding them a lot of useful information, and I can serve them so that I am working on my job as well, and I am spreading happiness and peace.
So you have to align your personal life with the universal vision. Still doubtful? Not okay? Yeah.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ನೀವು ಈಗ ಪೀಸ್ಫುಲ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಈಗ ಅವೇರ್ನೆಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದು ಪೀಸ್ಫುಲ್ ಅಂತ ಇದು P1 ಅಂತ ಏನು ಹಾಕೊಂಡಿದೆ ಅದು ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪೀಸ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಗಿರೋದು.
Peace and happiness is the purpose for everything.
ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ಹೆಲ್ದಿ ಆಗಿರೋದು ಅದು ಸಹಿತ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ.
ಇಲ್ಲ, healthy is to be peaceful and happiness. If you are not healthy, you are not peaceful and happiness. Healthy is actually goal.
ದೆನ್ ಈಗ ಪ್ರಯಾರಿಟಿ ಏನು ಹಾಕೊಂಡಿದ್ವಲ್ಲ ಡೂ ಸೇವಾ ಅಂಡ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಅನ್ ಆಶ್ರಮ ಆ ಥರ ಅದು ವಿಷನ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ.
ಅದು vision. That is
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆಶ್ರಮ ಮೀನ್ಸ್
no, not vision. Vision is also to bring peace and happiness to others. How you do it is a vision.
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 Vision is the make ashram in that yoga, satsang and all is there.
Vision is how. Vision is also bring peace and happiness to others.
Okay.
How you do it is
Vision.
vision. That's why Ramakrishna vision, Chinmay mission.
Vision.
Mission is you have to do some. You should have some concrete ways. Ultimately, you have to bring peace and happiness, right? And what you have listed is a goal or priority in your life. How to make it happen.
What is the difference between purpose and mission?
Purpose and vision, there is no difference. Vision is your purpose. Vision is your purpose, how you bring it to others.
is it necessary that I should bring happiness to others?
Not necessary. Not necessary. If it's something larger than you, the energy will be more. For example, a job you are doing, right? If you are doing job for yourself, your energy will be very less. When you have to do for a company or organization, that job energy will be higher. Right? When you try to do it for a larger audience or larger people, it will be higher energy. So the more
share knowledge in your technical community and helps them come up in terms of technical is one thing that you can do.
okay, so let me vision is peace and happiness is just an abstract term. Because you know peace and happiness, how it gets peace and happiness, you know how to get peace and happiness in the skills which you have.
So vision means
something we don't know that will happen.
No, something you want to create.
For example, you gave, if possible, I'll try to give that peace and happiness. But I don't know if it is possible or not.
No, not fully. To the world, I don't know. To some people, yes. See, how much you can do, you don't know. But you can do it, no, you know. Right? If 50 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, you don't know. But your wish is to do as much as possible. That's
Most skills we learn is for a livelihood.
Right.
It's not, how do we realize what are the inner skills that we may have?
Yes.
Because our struggle is to earn a livelihood for ourselves and our families. Okay? And most of us get lost in that role we play. And often there's no way out from that. So we end up just being a mere, like any other animal who just lives to feed their stomachs.
Right.
So how do we get out of that?
Yeah, see, all of us have to earn our livelihood. There's no questions about that. We are not rich enough to live without earning livelihood. Okay? But the question is there something more than that we can do with our ability and skills? Okay, I'll give you an example of somebody who did it. Okay, there's a lady, her name is Uma Anand. She stays in Mysore. She had the same question. Whatever question you had asked, she had the same question. Then what I suggested is, it is true for any of us, right? So then, what do you think you can do, which is useful? What do you find as meaningful? Okay. She said, helping some children is meaningful to her. Helping, whatever help. Right? You don't say I can do help 100 people, 200 people. No, then I suggested her to go to one school nearby. It's called Bapuji Orphanage School. So she went there. There are about 40 girl children who are orphans, adopted. Some 3 months to 16 years, 18 years, girls who are orphans. She thought of giving something material to them, some books, some small gifts, so that make them happy. What she realized soon is that that's what they don't need actually. The children don't need. There already donations are coming which is giving them the dress and other things. What children are missing is a mother. Okay? The children don't have a mother, they crave for a mother. So she actually realized that, and instead of giving gifts or something, she became a mother. The children come and sleep at her lap, okay, tell her sorrows, cry with her. Okay, she simply became a mother for 40 children. Now, where is the livelihood question? Where is the question of giving something? She satisfied one of the deepest needs of the children to have a mother, because they don't have a mother. Right? In the process, her life has become beautiful. The children's life has become beautiful. So all of us have something which God has given to us. In the process of struggle for existence, day-to-day life, we miss that. Okay? Your journey of life is discovery of that what you have, and I'm sure every one of you have it. And share that with somebody who don't have that. That's your life. Then you feel the life will be fulfilled. Okay? Others, what happens is a struggle every day. We are living with the struggles of day-to-day existence. Slightly go beyond that. This is what I call service. Vision is, purpose is very clear. Purpose of all, everybody is clear. How I can bring that to somebody else is your vision. What I can do to bring that to somebody else's vision. The larger is the vision, larger is the energy. How you can do it, how much you can do it, don't worry. Because as you start doing, the whole universe will bring the strength to you. That is the point. The God, the strength of the universe, strength of the God operates through you. When I started actually, almost 15 years back, no students were there. I didn't have any students. And I didn't do any advertisement. Okay, one student came, then one student became 2, 2 became 4, 4 became 8, right? Now, and I didn't seek them, they started coming. Once your vision is clear, and once you have discovered your skill, all things will, what is required to make it happen will happen. So you have to be in that. That's what. Anybody question? Any other question? Is it coffee time?
Only one. Like how to create a personal vision statement.
We'll do that like this. After coffee, we'll do that.